My name is Lexi Fields. I am a current junior at Miami University and, most importantly, a very proud Hope Squad alum. I'm here today because my Hope Squad peers quite literally saved my life. I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression at the young age of 11. At the time, mental health was not something that was talked about anywhere, especially in homes, and particularly my home. My parents really had no idea what mental health was or what came along with the diagnosis that I was given at such a young age. Fortunately, I was lucky enough to be placed in therapy and able to receive professional support to learn coping skills and ways to manage my disorders. In high school, our school was fortunate enough to be selected as one of the pilot schools for Hope Squad. I had been trying for years to help my peers in some way, as I could see they were struggling as I did in the past. I didn't know where to start, and when we finally implemented Hope Squad, I was overjoyed that it would finally be addressed in our school. Thankfully, I was nominated to the team. At the same time, however, my depression started to take over again, worse than it ever had before, and I didn't have the skills to deal with it. I relied on self-harm and unhealthy coping skills to deal, and I felt that if pain was physical, it was real and valid, and if it was mental, it wasn't, and that's something that I've had to learn over time. I started to feel hopeless. I saw myself as a burden, and I determined that there was no way out. I was stuck. Here I was, a Hope Squad member and a student leader, one that was supposed to have her life together and know how to deal with everything all at once. But instead, I was suffering and isolating and keeping it to myself. I felt like such a hypocrite. Here's the thing. It's so hard to ask for help. We, as people who ask for help, have to set aside the pride and fear of judgment to wave that white flag. We actually don't give enough credit to people that do. So if you're one of those, I want to acknowledge you right now and say that that is such a hard thing to do. Thank you. I knew that if I were to bring this up to anyone or make a big deal of it, I would be an even bigger burden than I had determined I already was. So I kept it to myself, and I battled alone. About 6 months after being hospitalized at the beginning of my junior year of high school, I once again felt extremely hopeless and depressed. Therapy wasn't working, my previous hospitalization didn't really do anything to help, and I had given up trying. I decided on a Wednesday that Thursday would be my last day. We had a Hope Squad meeting that Thursday. I started to say goodbye to all of my friends at school, knowing that I wouldn't return to school the next day. I wanted them to know that I loved them and was so grateful for them and everything that they'd done for me over the years, but I didn't want to draw attention to how out of place it was or out of the blue these sincere goodbyes were. I had been unusually quiet and reserved for the previous weeks, as many people are, and this sudden change sounded the alarms. While saying goodbye to my Hope Squad peers in particular, one of them recognized these behaviors as warning signs. She realized what I was doing, even though I thought it was very coded and very well put on. She then pulled me aside and used QPR on me, question, persuade, refer, what Hope Squad students learn to use when helping their peers who are struggling to see if they need additional support and to evaluate the situation. Even though I understood what was happening every step of the discussion, they were using QPR on me. I knew it inside and out. My goodness. It worked. It worked, and I was referred for additional life-saving support, even though I could identify when we were switching from question to persuade. Because of this, I stand here talking to you all tonight. Thank you. Now, there's so much more to this story, but I'll leave you with a few thoughts. First, this work is so hard. No one can do it alone. My family, in particular, had to learn along with me how to build a safe, supportive environment for me at home as I tried to navigate school and work life through all of this. As I mentioned earlier, my family and community didn't talk about mental health during this time, but I was so lucky that they learned to be partners with me and supported me through my journey during my attempts, my hospitalizations in high school, and to this day. I still, to this day, have to continue to be self-aware of my own signs. I look for early symptoms much like when you get a cold. When I feel those first signs of a severe depressive episode or suicidality, I know to take action. I still deal with my mental health issues even now, but I have the skills and resources to live a happy, fulfilling life. Second, building communities is absolutely critical. That's why Hope Squads are so important. They create peer communities, help alleviate the stigma of mental illness and suicide, particularly within high schools, and identify students who need support oftentimes before their families, friends, and others around them. Suicide is not a bad word, and recognizing that starts with talking about it. Now that I'm a college student at Miami University, I continue to build these communities. I started an organization on campus called Miami Hope, and with the help and inspiration of Grant Us Hope, it is a student-run, peer-to-peer organization devoted to suicide prevention and mental health awareness on campus. Thank you. We try to continue to provide the life-saving work that Grant Us Hope has started, but on a college campus. Finally, I want to close by saying thank you for your presence here tonight. If you were to tell me 10 years ago that I would be speaking in a room full of people all gathered together to support mental health, I would have been in complete disbelief. Keep showing up, keep talking about it, and please keep supporting this field, because you are changing the world through that, whether you know it or not, and breaking the stigma. To be in a space full of people coming together for a cause that was so hush-hush for much of my life is truly remarkable, and I can't truly express my gratitude for this moment. Thank you.